You felt it, didn't you? The silence after they walked away, the whispers behind your back, the moments they tried to erase your name, yet somehow they never could. Listen closely, chosen one, I am speaking to you. They thought distancing themselves would weaken you. They believed betrayal would break your spirit. They assumed time would bury your impact. But they were wrong. Every attempt to forget you became a reminder of my hand upon your life. Every door they slammed echoed louder in their own souls. That moment, that spiritual checkmate, still keeps them awake at night. You wondered why the battles felt so personal, why rejection cut so deeply, why you were targeted when you only tried to walk in truth. It is because what lives inside you cannot be replaced, copied, or silenced. I marked you before they misunderstood you. I called you before they tried to discredit you. Stay still. What they cannot forget is what I am about to reveal through you. Chosen one, you called it rejection. You felt the sting of doors closing in your face. You felt the weight of being left behind while others seemed welcomed, celebrated, and embraced. You questioned your worth in the quiet moments when no one could hear your thoughts. You wondered what was wrong with you. You wondered why you were not enough for the spaces you tried so hard to belong to. But listen carefully. What you named abandonment was never me leaving you. It was me moving you. I saw what you could not see. I saw conversations that would have broken your spirit. I saw alliances forming that would have slowly poisoned your purpose. I saw environments that looked like opportunity, but were actually traps designed to shrink who I created you to be. And because I love you beyond what you can understand, I removed you before they could destroy something sacred inside you. You cried over people who were never assigned to protect your destiny. You tried to hold on to places that could not hold the weight of your calling. You blamed yourself for endings that I personally orchestrated. You thought you were losing value, but you were actually being separated from limitations. Chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. You were never designed to survive off approval. The very rejection that made you feel invisible was creating spiritual space around you. Space to grow. Space to hear my voice without interference. Space to become who you were always meant to be. You remember how confused you felt when everything started falling apart at once. Relationships shifted. Support disappeared. Doors you prayed for suddenly slammed shut. It felt cruel. It felt unfair. It felt like the ground beneath your life was breaking. But while you were grieving what left, I was guarding what was coming. There are rooms ahead of you that require strength you could not build while being comfortable. There are assignments waiting for you that demand clarity you could not receive while surrounded by noise. There are blessings prepared for you that cannot be shared with people who only knew the smaller version of you. Your rejection was not a sign that you were unwanted. It was a sign that your path was sacred. It was proof that your destiny carries weight. Not everyone can walk beside someone who carries my mark. Not everyone can understand the pressure placed upon those I have chosen. I know it hurt. I know you replayed those moments over and over, wondering what you could have said differently, what you could have done better. But the truth is, no amount of effort could have changed what I had already decided. Some exits in your life were divine commands, not human decisions. You were not pushed out. You were pulled forward. And now, even though the scars still feel fresh, you are standing in a place where your vision is sharper, your spirit is stronger, and your identity is clearer. What felt like loss was actually alignment. What felt like heartbreak was actually preparation. Chosen one, trust this truth deeply within your soul. Where they could not keep you, I am about to establish you. Chosen one, you asked me many nights, why is my life filled with so many battles? You watched others walk through doors that seemed to open effortlessly, while you felt like every step forward came with resistance. Every time you tried to rise, something pushed back. Every time you tried to breathe in peace, another storm gathered around you. You thought it meant you were cursed. You thought it meant you were unlucky. You thought it meant you were forgotten. But hear me clearly. The battles around you were never signs of your weakness. They were evidence of what lives inside you. There is something within your spirit that disrupts darkness simply by existing. There is a calling resting on your life that threatens forces you cannot always see. And when a soul carries purpose like yours, opposition does not arrive by accident. It arrives because your presence shifts atmospheres. You remember how early the struggles began. Before you even understood who you were, you felt different. You felt targeted. Situations unfolded around you that felt heavier than what others your age seemed to carry. You tried to live quietly. You tried to avoid conflict. Yet somehow conflict found you. That was not coincidence. That was confirmation. You wondered why misunderstandings followed you. Why jealousy appeared when you showed kindness. Why people sometimes fought against you without clear reason. What you did not realize was that your light was exposing shadows they were not ready to confront. Chosen one, battles do not chase empty vessels. War does not surround meaningless ground. Resistance only rises where something valuable is being protected or prevented from rising. Every hardship you survived was strengthening muscles in your spirit that comfort could never build. Every tear you cried carved deeper compassion into your heart. Every time you stood back up after being knocked down, your authority in unseen places grew stronger. You thought you were barely surviving, but you were being trained. There were nights you felt completely alone, wondering if anyone truly understood the weight you carried. There were moments when exhaustion made you question whether continuing forward was worth the pain. You felt like surrender would finally bring peace. But I was standing beside you in every unseen moment. I was counting every time you chose to rise again. I was watching your endurance become your crown. The battles refined your discernment. Now you see intentions more clearly. The battles strengthened your voice. Now, when you speak, your words carry power shaped by experience. The battles deepened your faith. Now you trust me in ways comfort could never teach. Chosen one, understand this sacred truth. Your life was never meant to be easy because your destiny was never meant to be ordinary. There are people whose freedom will one day be unlocked because you refuse to quit. There are broken hearts that will recognize hope because they will see how you survived. There are paths you are meant to walk that require the strength forged inside every battle you faced. The warfare around your life was never designed to destroy you. It was designed to reveal you. And now, As you stand stronger than the storms that tried to bury you, know this. What fought you so fiercely did so, because it recognized the authority placed upon your soul before you ever did. Chosen one, you remember the silence, don't you? The long seasons when the phone stopped ringing. The rooms that felt emptier than you ever imagined. The moments when laughter faded from your life, and all you could hear were your own thoughts echoing back at you. You believed you were forgotten. You believed you were being punished. You questioned why everyone else seemed surrounded by support while you stood alone in places that once felt familiar. But listen to me, your isolation was never rejection. It was preparation. I pulled you away from noise because your destiny requires clarity. I separated you from constant voices because too many opinions were drowning out the one voice that would guide your life correctly. You thought you were losing connection with people, but you were actually being connected to purpose. There were distractions around you that looked harmless. There were influences that felt normal, but were quietly shaping you into someone smaller than who I created you to be. I saw the conversations that would have diluted your vision. I saw the environments that would have slowly reshaped your identity to fit expectations that were never designed for you. So I allowed the distance. I know it hurt when friendships faded without explanation. I know it confused you when people who once promised loyalty suddenly became strangers. You replayed memories, wondering where everything changed. You blamed yourself for shifts that had nothing to do with your worth. Chosen one, some separations happen because your soul is being prepared for assignments that cannot survive in crowded spaces. In your isolation, I began rebuilding you from the inside. I allowed you to face your fears without distraction. I allowed you to confront wounds you buried under busy routines. I allowed you to hear truths about yourself that only silence could reveal. You discovered strength you never knew you carried. You learned how to comfort yourself when no one else could reach you. You developed discernment that only grows when you spend time observing rather than performing for acceptance. You began to recognize my presence in ways you never noticed when life was filled with constant movement. You called it loneliness, but it was sacred construction. Every moment you sat alone questioning your direction, I was shaping your foundation. Every tear that fell when you felt unseen was watering seeds of resilience within your spirit. Every time you thought you were falling behind, you were actually being positioned differently. There are callings placed on your life that require emotional independence. There are paths ahead that demand spiritual maturity that crowds cannot teach. There are responsibilities waiting for you that require knowing my voice more clearly than the voices around you. Chosen one, I never isolated you to break your heart. I isolated you to strengthen it. I never separated you to weaken your confidence. I separated you to anchor it in something eternal instead of temporary approval. Now look at yourself. You stand differently. You think differently. You no longer depend on being surrounded to feel secure. You have learned how to walk with peace even when the road feels quiet. And soon, you will understand why the training had to happen in solitude. Because where you are going, you must carry a strength that was built where no one else was watching. Chosen one, you have felt it building, haven't you? the sudden heaviness that arrived without warning, the pressure that seemed to multiply when you thought you were finally moving forward, the strange battles that appeared all at once, emotional, mental, spiritual, as if something was trying to exhaust you before you could reach the next chapter of your life. You asked yourself, why is everything getting harder now? You wondered why peace felt so close, yet chaos kept interrupting it. You questioned if you were doing something wrong, if maybe you had lost your way. But listen to me carefully. The intensity of these attacks is not a sign that you are failing. It is a signal that you are approaching something powerful. Darkness does not panic over someone standing still. Resistance does not rise against a life without movement. The pressure around you increased because your spirit is stepping into territory that was never meant to remain locked. The closer you move toward what has been prepared for you, the louder opposition tries to become. You began noticing how challenges started appearing in patterns. Just when clarity entered your mind, confusion tried to cloud your thoughts. Just when hope rose in your heart, discouragement tried to settle over your emotions. Just when opportunities started forming, distractions and conflicts tried to pull your focus away. This was not random. This was not coincidence. This was resistance recognizing your arrival before you fully realized it yourself. Chosen one, breakthroughs do not happen quietly. Transformation does not occur without confrontation. Whenever something sacred is about to be released in your life, forces that benefited from your struggle attempt to keep you bound to your past. I have watched you fight battles that left you emotionally drained. I have seen you carry questions you could not answer. I have seen you fall to your knees in moments where continuing forward felt impossible. There were nights when you felt surrounded by pressure from every direction, and you wondered if relief would ever come. But every time you stood back up, something shifted in the unseen realm. Every time you chose to believe, even when fear whispered louder chains weakened around your destiny. Every time you refused to surrender your hope, doors began forming that you could not yet see. You thought you were barely surviving the attacks, but you were actually breaking through layers that once held you back. The storms intensified because you are standing at the edge of elevation. The warfare increased because your next season carries influence you have never experienced before. The weight feels heavier because what you are about to carry requires strength that only pressure can build. Chosen one, understand this truth deeply. The enemy does not fight futures that do not exist. The resistance around you is confirmation that your breakthrough is real, that your transformation is unfolding, that your destiny is closer than it has ever been. You are not being pushed backward. You are being pressed forward. Hold your ground a little longer. Strengthen your spirit a little deeper. Trust my guidance, even when your emotions feel overwhelmed, because what is waiting on the other side of this battle is not just relief, it is release. And when this breakthrough arrives, you will finally understand why the attacks had to become louder before they disappeared. Chosen one, you carried a silent pain that few ever noticed, the pain of being misunderstood. The weight of explaining your heart to people who only listened with their expectations. The exhaustion of trying to show your intentions while others kept rewriting your story in ways that never reflected your truth. You remember how deeply it hurt when people judged your silence as arrogance, when they called your kindness weakness, when they labeled your distance as coldness, never realizing it was self-protection. You tried to open your heart. You tried to clarify your intentions. You bent parts of yourself just to maintain peace, hoping they would finally see who you truly were. But listen to me, chosen one. Not everyone was meant to understand you. Some souls were only meant to cross your path, not walk beside you forever. Some connections were designed to teach you lessons, not share your destiny. You kept trying to build permanent homes in relationships that were only meant to be temporary bridges. I saw how hard you fought to keep certain people in your life. I saw the late nights you spent replaying conversations, wondering how everything went wrong. You carried guilt for endings that were never your responsibility. You questioned whether you were too much, too emotional, too intense, or too different. But you were never too much. You were simply too aligned with a purpose they were never assigned to understand. Chosen one, your journey carries layers that only certain hearts can walk through with you. The calling placed upon your life requires people who can recognize your spirit, not just tolerate your presence. It requires companions who see your depth as strength, not something to fear or control. Those who misunderstood you were often seeing you through the lens of their own limitations. They tried to measure your destiny using their comfort zones. They tried to interpret your growth through their fears of change. And when they could not explain you, they chose to mislabel you. That was never a reflection of your value. That was a reflection of their assignment ending. Every person who walked away created space for someone who will recognize your language without constant explanation. Every relationship that fractured removed obstacles that could have slowed your spiritual progress. Every misunderstanding that left you feeling isolated was clearing your path for connections that will honor your truth instead of resisting it. I know you mourned those losses. I know there are still moments when memories return, and your heart feels the echo of what you hoped those relationships could have been. Grief does not mean you made the wrong journey. It means you cared deeply while walking the path I designed for you. Chosen one, understand this sacred truth. Destiny partnerships do not require you to shrink who you are. The right people will not constantly question your spirit. They will recognize something familiar within your soul because they are walking assignments connected to yours. Where you are going, clarity matters more than popularity. Alignment matters more than attachment. And truth matters more than temporary comfort. You were not abandoned by those who misunderstood you. You were released by those who could not travel the distance your calling requires. And as you continue forward, you will discover something beautiful. The ones meant to walk your full journey will never need constant explanation to see the light that has always lived within you. Chosen one, betrayal was one of the deepest wounds you ever carried. It did not come from strangers. It came from voices you trusted, from hands you believed would protect you, from hearts you thought would stand beside you when storms arrived. You remember the shock when loyalty turned into silence, the confusion when support slowly transformed into distance. The pain of realizing that people who once celebrated your presence were now questioning your worth. Betrayal did not just break your trust in them, it made you question yourself. You asked, was I blind? You wondered, did I give too much? You questioned if your kindness was a mistake. But listen to me carefully. Chosen one, betrayal was never meant to destroy your heart. It was meant to reveal hidden truth. There were people walking beside you who could celebrate your beginnings, but could not survive your growth. There were connections built during seasons when you were still discovering your strength. And when your spirit began expanding, when your purpose started becoming clearer, their loyalty began to struggle against your transformation. You thought they changed, but often they simply revealed who they were all along. I allowed certain betrayals to surface because your next season carries blessings that require protection. There are opportunities ahead that cannot be trusted in the hands of those who secretly compete with your progress. There are assignments waiting for you that demand spiritual unity, not hidden resentment. Every betrayal acted like a light shining into corners you could not see clearly before. It exposed intentions that were masked by comfort. It revealed hearts that could not handle your elevation. It uncovered alliances that would have eventually collapsed under the pressure of your destiny. I know how deeply it cut you. I know there were nights when the memories replayed in your mind, trying to understand where sincerity ended and deception began. You felt foolish for trusting. You felt vulnerable for believing promises that dissolved when tested. But chosen one, your ability to trust was never weakness. It was evidence of your pure heart. The betrayal did not make you foolish. It made you wiser. It sharpened your discernment. It strengthened your boundaries. It taught you how to recognize loyalty that stands firm when circumstances shift. You thought you were losing people, but you were gaining clarity. Your next season requires people who celebrate your success without secretly grieving it. It requires companions who will protect your name when you are not present. It requires souls who can carry responsibility alongside you without allowing jealousy to poison their loyalty. If those betrayals had remained hidden, they could have entered spaces meant for sacred growth. They could have disrupted blessings before they fully formed. They could have stood beside you while silently weakening the foundation of what I am building through your life. Chosen one, I did not allow betrayal to break you. I allowed it to filter your surroundings. What left your life was not always loss. Sometimes it was divine removal. Sometimes it was protection disguised as heartbreak. Sometimes it was me closing access to your future before someone mishandled what you are about to receive. You survived the betrayal. You rose from the pain, and now you stand stronger, wiser, and more guarded with your peace. Remember this truth as you step forward. Those who betrayed you were not strong enough to carry the blessings waiting in your next season. Chosen one, I see the nights you endured in silence, the moments when the world expected noise, but all you could do was whisper prayers into the emptiness. The hours when your heart ached, but your lips refused to complain. The times you carried the weight of disappointment, betrayal, and rejection without letting anyone see the cracks. You thought staying quiet was weakness. You thought holding in your pain was loneliness. You believed no one understood what it cost you to remain composed when everything inside you was breaking. But listen closely. My chosen one, that silence was not wasted. That silence was not ignored. That silence was a powerful weapon in the unseen realm. Every tear you refused to display publicly, every sigh you swallowed, every word you didn't speak while the world whispered lies about you, all of it became authority. Spiritual authority. Authority over situations that were trying to control your destiny. Authority over the forces that sought to weaken your spirit. Authority that only builds when pain is endured with patience and faith. Do you remember how they watched you silently? How they expected you to crumble? How they assumed your quiet was resignation? They did not understand that your stillness was a battlefield. They did not realize that, in every moment of silent endurance, I was training you, refining you, and preparing you to rise with power. Each time you chose not to retaliate against insults, betrayals, or unfair treatment, you were gaining a strength that cannot be measured in human terms. Each time you refused to respond in anger, pride, or frustration, your spirit expanded in ways that could only be seen in the unseen realm. You were building resilience, discernment, and authority that will one day shift circumstances without you even lifting a hand. Your silence is your crown, chosen one. Your quiet endurance is your platform. Those who tried to break you will not see the full weight of what they could not understand. The authority you have gained will speak louder than their words, louder than their betrayals, and louder than the trials that sought to define you. I know it hurt. I know it felt lonely. I know you wondered if your struggle mattered. But every silent night, every private tear, every hidden battle, I was there, fortifying your spirit. I was establishing your voice in realms you cannot yet see. I was shaping a presence that will not only survive storms but command them. And when the time comes, chosen one, when your breakthrough arrives, your enemies will feel the weight of the authority you built quietly, invisibly, without show or boast. They will be haunted not by what you said, but by who you have become. Do not regret your silence. Do not despise your quiet. It was never emptiness. It was never weakness. It was sacred work. Every unseen hour was a step toward your elevation. Every moment endured without complaint was a declaration in the spiritual realms that you belong to me, and nothing, no betrayal, no pain, no attack can bypass the authority I have placed within you. Chosen one, your silence has spoken, it has built, it has conquered, and soon the world will witness what the unseen realm has always known: your power is unstoppable. Chosen one, there were moments when you truly believed you would not survive what you were facing. The pressure felt relentless. The pain felt personal. The weight of everything happening around you made it feel like life itself had chosen you as a target. You remember those seasons when it seemed like every step forward triggered another setback. Every attempt to heal uncovered another wound. Every time you tried to rebuild, something came crashing down again. You asked me in your quietest moments, why does it feel like everything is trying to destroy me? You wondered if your strength had limits. You feared that maybe you were being broken beyond repair. But listen to me now, chosen one. What tried to destroy you was unknowingly preparing your elevation. There were forces working against your peace, against your confidence, against your growth. They believed pressure would crush you. They believed pain would silence you. They believed that if they surrounded your life with enough chaos, you would forget who you were meant to become. But they did not understand what I placed inside you. Every attack forced you to discover strength you never knew you carried. Every disappointment pushed you to seek deeper, meaning beyond temporary validation. Every moment of being knocked down trained you to rise with greater wisdom and resilience. You thought you were falling apart, but you were actually breaking out of limitations that once confined you. There were seasons when people underestimated your ability to recover. They watched you struggle and assumed your story was ending. They spoke quietly about your setbacks, believing your light was fading. But while they were watching your battles, they could not see the transformation happening beneath the surface. Pressure was shaping your endurance. Pain was sharpening your discernment. Loss was clearing your path. And every obstacle placed before you was secretly strengthening the foundation of the life you are about to step into. Chosen one, elevation requires preparation that comfort can never provide. The heights I am leading you toward demand emotional strength, spiritual depth, and unshakable clarity. Those qualities are not built in peaceful seasons. They are forged in moments when survival itself feels uncertain. I saw every tear you tried to hide. I felt every moment when exhaustion made you question continuing forward. I stood beside you when fear whispered that you had reached your limit. And each time you found the courage to take one more step, something inside you rose higher. You survived situations that were meant to bury your confidence. You endured storms that were meant to erase your hope. And now, the very experiences that tried to destroy your identity have become the pillars holding your destiny in place. You are stronger than you were before the attacks began. You see more clearly. You trust more wisely. You stand with a confidence shaped not by comfort, but by survival and growth. Chosen one, understand this sacred truth. Your elevation is not happening despite what you went through. It is happening because of it. The battles you faced were unknowingly training you for authority. The trials you endured were constructing your resilience. The darkness that surrounded you only made your light more visible. And now, as you rise into the next chapter of your life, you will carry a strength that cannot be shaken, because everything that tried to destroy you unknowingly built the staircase you are about to climb. Chosen one, do you remember the moments when it felt like life was closing in on you from every side? The doors you tried to open slammed shut. The opportunities you prayed for never came through. The people you trusted betrayed you. The paths you thought were safe suddenly became dangerous. You ask yourself, why is nothing working out? Why do I feel trapped, attacked, or overlooked? You thought I had forgotten you. You thought protection had left your side. You wondered if the storms would ever end. But hear me now, chosen one. Divine protection has been walking with you every step of the way, guarding you from dangers you cannot see, and some you will never fully understand. There were situations you barely survived, circumstances you barely escaped, people you barely recognized as threats. Every time you look back now, it seems like sheer luck carried you through. But it was not luck. It was my hand. shielding you from chaos that could have destroyed your spirit, your calling, your destiny. You remember nights filled with uncertainty, when fear whispered louder than hope. You remember crossroads where every choice felt like a trap. You remember the voices telling you to give up, and the temptations urging you to take shortcuts that would have led you away from the path I laid before you. All of it I blocked. Sometimes protection is quiet. You do not see the angels stationed in unseen corners. You do not feel the walls I built around you until the storm passes. You do not always realize which steps were redirected, which words were withheld, which doors remained closed because a greater plan required it. Chosen one, every time you survived betrayal, survived pain, survived isolation, survived the moments that felt unfair, it was because you were under divine guard. Every near miss, every circumstance that, miraculously, didn't take you under, every time you walked away from harm without understanding why, was me keeping your life intact for the season ahead. I know you wondered why things unfolded in ways you could not predict. I know it frustrated you to see people advance while your path seemed stalled. I know it hurt to feel blocked when your heart wanted freedom. But the very blocks you saw, the obstacles that frustrated you, were shields placed by love. They were barriers that kept destruction at bay, while I prepared the blessings meant only for you. You cannot always see the full extent of what I protect you from, and that is why trust is required. You must continue to walk faithfully, knowing that every delay, every setback, every rejection, and every storm carries hidden protection. Your journey is sacred. Your destiny is priceless, and nothing will harm what I have designed for you. Chosen one, keep moving forward. Keep believing. Keep standing firm. Your path is safe because I am guarding it. Your life is shielded because I know the dangers that lie ahead. And one day, when you rise into the fullness of your calling, you will see that every trial, every blocked path, and every near miss was a testimony to my divine protection, proving that nothing and no one can touch what I have reserved for you. You survived, you endured, you thrived, and it was never by accident. You were protected even when you didn't know it. Chosen one, you have stared at the clock of your life more times than you can count. You watched others move ahead. You watched doors open for people who seemed less prepared, less faithful, less patient. You felt like time was slipping through your hands, while your prayers echoed back in silence. You wondered if you missed your moment. You feared that maybe you waited too long, believed too long, hoped too long. You called it delay. You called it being left behind. You called it disappointment. But listen to me carefully. Your destiny is not delayed. It is being strategically prepared. You are measuring your journey by human timing, but I am orchestrating it through divine precision. You see waiting as emptiness, but I see it as construction. You see stillness as stagnation, but I see it as alignment. There are details being arranged around your life that you cannot yet see, and every single one of them matters. There were doors you begged me to open that would have exposed you to responsibilities you were not ready to carry. There were opportunities you cried over losing that would have connected you to people who could not sustain your future. There were blessings you wanted early that would have overwhelmed your spirit instead of elevating it. I was not ignoring your prayers. I was protecting their outcome. Chosen one, destiny is not built on speed. It is built on structure. And the calling placed upon your life carries weight that requires careful preparation. There are strengths being formed inside you that cannot grow overnight. There is wisdom being developed through your experiences that comfort could never teach. You remember the seasons when it felt like nothing was moving. You kept showing up. You kept believing. You kept working on yourself while it felt like no one was noticing your effort. You questioned whether your faith was pointless. You wondered if your sacrifices were invisible. But nothing you endured was wasted. Every season of waiting strengthened your character. Every moment of uncertainty deepened your trust. Every closed door redirected your steps toward something more aligned with your purpose. While you thought life was paused, I was positioning people, opportunities, and circumstances to meet you at the exact moment your spirit would be ready to receive them. If your destiny arrived before your preparation, it could have crushed you under its pressure. If your breakthrough appeared before your emotional and spiritual strength matured, it could have slipped through your hands. Timing is not just about arrival, it is about readiness. Chosen one, your path has never been random. Even the delays carried intention. Even the silence carried guidance. Even the waiting carried progress you could not measure. Look at how much you have grown. Look at how your perspective has shifted. Look at how your strength has deepened. The person you are becoming now is capable of carrying what the version of you from years ago could not sustain. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared with precision. And when your destiny unfolds, it will not arrive as something rushed or unstable. It will arrive as something secure, something lasting, something perfectly aligned with who you have become through every season you survived. Chosen one, trust my timing with your whole heart, because what I am preparing for you is not just a moment of success. It is a lifetime of purpose, and it will arrive exactly when your soul is strong enough to hold it. Chosen one, do you feel it stirring inside you now? All the pain you've carried, the nights you cried alone, the moments when the world seemed stacked against you. It wasn't meaningless. It wasn't random. It wasn't punishment. Every tear, every wound, every season of waiting was shaping you for something greater. You thought the struggles were breaking you, but they were building you. You thought the betrayals were empty, but they were filters, separating what belongs from what cannot walk with you into the next season. You thought the silence was abandonment, but it was the space where I taught your spirit to hear my voice louder than any distraction. Even when you couldn't see it, I was moving around you. I was closing doors that would have led to destruction. I was shielding you from dangers you didn't even know were near. I was training your heart, strengthening your mind, sharpening your spirit, preparing you for the exact moment your destiny would demand a bold, unshakable version of yourself. And now, my chosen one, do you feel it? The shift, the stirring, the fire in your soul that won't be ignored. The pieces of your life that felt broken are starting to line up. The struggles, the pain, the waiting, they were the unseen hands of preparation. They were my protection activating in ways you could not perceive. They were the signal that your destiny is ready to awaken. Everything that hurt you, everything that tried to stop you, everything that felt unfair, was secretly aligning your life for elevation. Rise, chosen one. Rise from the doubt, rise from the fear, rise from the exhaustion. Your pain had purpose. Your trial had design. Your journey had intention. And now the breakthrough, the elevation, the divine assignment you've been waiting for, it is calling your name. You were never lost. You were never alone. You were being prepared, and now, the moment your spirit has been trained for is here. Stand. Step forward. Your destiny is waiting. The world may not understand yet, but the heavens already recognize the power within you. Your time is now. Your rise is unstoppable. Would you like me to continue this into a full climactic section that could serve as the peak of a motivational video speech? Chosen one, lift your head and feel this truth. I have never left you. Not for a second. Every tear you shed, every battle you endured, every moment you thought you were alone, I was there. I have been shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you for a destiny greater than you can imagine. The storms have not defeated you. They have strengthened you. The betrayals did not break you. They revealed who can truly walk with you. The delays were not denials. They were divine preparations for what is about to be released in your life. Now rise, my chosen one. Stand tall with courage in your heart, fire in your spirit, and faith that cannot be shaken. Your breakthrough is here. Your victory is near. Your destiny is calling, and I will carry you every step of the way. The world may have tried to stop you, but nothing, no one, can stop what I have ordained for you. Stand, walk, shine. You are unstoppable.